on, let's go, boy!
How does that come about?
You know, Justin's art style is where it all springs from. Like, he really speaks through his art, because there are few people in this world that can sit down and draw something that makes you laugh. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's our first thing, is we're like, his art style makes us laugh, but then it's our job to build this unexpected complexity, these unexpected jokes. To us, an audience that knows what's coming is an audience that changes the channel, or the app, or whatever it is. An audience that has to rewatch to catch everything and they never know what's coming, but there's still heart, there's still emotional storytelling, there's a lot of jokes. Those are the people that are going to stick with it. So Justin's bringing the funny, he's bringing the tone. I worked with him for like 6 years on Rick and Morty. So like, we knew what we could accomplish, and Solar was our chance to do a totally ridiculous no rules show that's constantly seeing what we can get away with the format of television.
And they keep letting us get away with it.
They really do,
They
which
need
is
to stop
insane.
us.
Disney and Hulu have been very good. But I mean, really, we talk about, like, this show is joyful, right? It's a joy to write, and hopefully it's a joy to watch, and it comes across on the screen. And I think that's where you get all the fun of having a subplot like what we have in The Wall, and now we have a subplot, Silver Cops, to go along with our aliens. We're just trying to have as much fun as we can, honestly.
We want to get Justin's goofiness and then mix it with depth that you don't expect, and then the second you get the depth, it gets right back to goofy. You know, like, you just never get your footing.
Somebody else can ask. I don't want to.
I was going to ask something right now. So, in comparison to like cable and broadcast and what Rick and Morty's been on for, and Hulu, I mean, how much different is it? Because it seems like you're able to do a lot more via Hulu than you would on broadcast TV.
Well, the first thing is that knowing that domestically we can binge, that we're going to drop all at once, or that for internationally, if you log in to watch an episode of Solar, you have the whole run up till whatever you have, which even on Rick and Morty, you had to hope that somebody had happened to see an episode to understand what was going to happen next. So because we're not on linear, as they call it, we know that we can write these bizarrely serialized stories mixed in with the kind of flighty, fun, Simpsons-esque, episodic family stories. But also, we're all such fans of TV that, like, we like writing family stories, and we never get hired to write the heavy dramatic stories. So we're doing the stuff we know that we love, and then we're switching and putting on our hats of doing things that nobody would ever let us write a dramatic story like The Wall. So we're like, fuck it, let's just do it in our own show, and then we love getting to do it.
But we also get to be very dirty, and we get to cuss, which is great. Coming from regular TV where we didn't get to do that for so long. That is a big perk.
We're just trying to find rules to break at this point, because Hulu supports us and Disney supports us, unless we're making fun of Bambi or Mickey Mouse or whatever, but then that's the only time they ever fight back, is they're like, no, you can't say that Winnie the Pooh has a vibrator collection. You know what I mean? But other than that, they're fine with it.
So is that the rule to break? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Is that the rule to break? Is like you have to go the Disney route, and once you get to them, then you...
We slip in a Disney thing every once in a while. We're like, we know they know they own this.
Marvel and Star Wars are...
They won't let us mess with Marvel. Well, we've messed a little with Marvel. Star Wars is a pretty big no-no. But it's weird because, like, we're making fun of everything we love, and we love all that stuff. Disney owns everything we love. So, like, we just have to find that line, you know?
Yeah.
There was a subplot, like, in the first season, because my girlfriend introduced me to solar opposites. So I was like, let me watch this. First 2 seasons, that whole subplot of the people inside the tank, it blew my mind that there was a continuing narrative. Because normally most shows would be like, okay, that's just a one-off. We're not going to care. Y'all took the time out from season 1 all the way through season 2 to do that. Like, how hard was that to craft that serious? And it's a very serious narrative,
Season 3 is even bigger, and Season 4 is even bigger.
Like, how did y'all go about crafting that serious narrative, and then you balance that with what's happening outside the tank with all the goofy stuff that's happening there?
You tell me.
Okay, so we got a little greedy with the drama writing. Originally, it was just supposed to be 1 season, and then we were going to switch to another plot.
Yeah.
But we loved doing this kind of like Game of Thrones kind of, it's escape kind of narrative in the first season that we switched it up and did like a little bit more of like a murder mystery.
True Detective-y.
True Detective in the second season. And then in the third season, we were like, well, we really would love to write like a monster movie, a horror movie. So it's like we get greedy with
Like
the
a
dramas
Roger
that
Corman,
we love.
like, yeah.
And then in the fourth season, which we've written and we're producing right now, is a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and very Cold War.
Yeah.
So we get to write all the drama that nobody pays us to write.
Look at Sean Giambrone. He's like, wait, we're allowed to say that?
And we also get to, we get to like, because these guys, our normal cast, they are so good and so quick and so sharp and so fast that then we will cast like these drama actors.
Yeah.
Right? The
Amazing.
Sterling K. Browns and the Christina Hendricks and the Alpha Molinas who are so different, and we get to have them say ridiculously stupid things.
And you know what? It's actually, I think the drama stuff is easier because none of us have ever gotten to write any of that in our careers, but we love watching and consuming and reading and like I love comics and sci-fi books so we, for the first time ever, get to write our dramas. And then when we swap over to the alien stuff, it's like, okay, it has to be funny. Season 3 had to have more heart than ever before. That's the stuff that's even harder to write because when we switch over to the drama side, it's like, oh, we just get to like cosplay as serious writers for a day and have a blast. And then we like story break 3 seasons out. So we have all of these kind of ideas that are just like waiting to go off. And we're like, wow, drama writing's easy. In a comedy, you have to end a scene on a joke. In a drama, you can end a scine on somebody
Just looking
feeling
at
something.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Somebody being like,
And
like it's so easy. Yeah.
I have this wild feeling that, like, in season 5, all of a sudden it's going to be, we're going to build Main Street USA right down to the castle in the tank.
Yeah. I
Next
know.
question is the last one, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was wondering if you can tell us a little bit, what does it mean to you, the Comic-Con? Why is it important for you? And
Well, I mean, I can say for me, I've been coming to Comic-Con since like 2006, and for the first 5 times I came, I was a fan on the floor. Like, I had no backstage access. I would like shriek when I saw George R.R. Martin, you know what I mean? Like, and it was like before Game of Thrones was made into a TV show. Like, I was a full-fledged geeky guy, and getting to be on this side of it, like, I know how special it is for fans to get to like actually see people talking about the stuff we do all day. We talk about making the show all day, but like, when you have this thing you love, getting to share it with people and be around all these people that like everything else you like, because I love comics, you know? I love movies, I love all the new shows. I want to see the next season of Invincible, you know what I mean? Like, so like, part of it is I'm like, yeah, I'm here for work to like celebrate this thing that we've all worked on, but then I'm also like, oh shit, there's all such awesome stuff down here, and I have my favorite bars I've been going to for like a decade. So like, you know, we premiered in the pandemic. When in lockdown.
We came to Comic-Con before the show was even on. So this is our first time being amongst fans and being...
You saying your girlfriend introduced you to the show, that's one of the first times I've never heard somebody say that.
Yeah, like when I first met her, it was like a month after us going out on a date. She was like, hey, you ever seen Solar Opposites? I was like, what is that? and I was like, what is that?
We've all been
She's
so
good.
inside this whole time that like being here with you guys and getting to hear somebody say that, I'm like, oh, this work that we've been doing for so long, somebody's cool girlfriend saw it first. Like, that's cool for us. And like, having that human connection is super important.
Because we have fun writing and we like the jokes, but like we want to ultimately like show it off to the
We
world,
wanna-
and we want to hear.
We are so
feedback.
happy.
Proud
I
of
mean,
it.
the international thing for us is huge too, right? We didn't really have that the first season or two, and now knowing that when it dropped last week, it dropped I think in 100 countries. You know,
Yeah.
that's insane and amazing.
Plus, they don't print out these cool little posters for us if we don't come down Comic-Con like that.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it.
Have
Appreciate it.
a good time down here.
No.
Okay, well, I'm curious to know what like first reads of episodes are like, because I've heard varying stories. Some are very normal, some are more like Doc Hammer series where somebody runs in and says, guess what I just did to all of our characters. So what's it like when you get these insanely, you know, just kind of driven scripts and you have to read through it?
It's surprising, to be honest. There's a lot of times where you're like reading it and I'll laugh, like the joke will kind of catch me off guard, you know, if you don't expect it, and so that's fun. Yeah, it's a good sign that they're doing something right.
I remember I read a script once and it said I died in it, and I was like, I was really freaking, but then I already was sent the next script, but so there was like, but that was like in early season 2 or something like that. Yeah, so you never know what's coming. certainly not.
Right, yeah. And then sometimes you read what you're reading your script and you're like, oh no, I have to say that. And that's I get a little nervous sometimes to say some of the stuff. It's a little risque. Yeah.
Have you ever been curious about aliens? I mean, if something was up there in their life, do you believe in it? Have you, since you had this project, is it something that you were always wondered? Or?
Huh. I mean, as a kid, I think you have to.
Are you denying?
I know. I was going to say. I think you have to anticipate there being alien life out there. That would be insane if we're the only planet, that's capable of it. And now we got that new Webb telescope. That's going to be pretty exciting. Already, some of the images coming out of there are pretty spicy.
I've seen the photos. They found the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Check Facebook.
There's so many stories about like I'll really get into it, but I mean you can't my husband's town where he's from in Wisconsin. He the whole there's 10 people in that town who have the same story of a crazy bright light going over the town that night, and that happens so many places. There's got to be something to it, right? I mean, am I the first one to think this?
You're not the first one.
There has to be something to it. I'm a believer.
Well, after watching our show, when they introduce different species or things like that, it's kind of it makes me think in a different way. It's like, oh, that's what alien interaction could be like. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I believe we'll ever it might be a while until we meet anything or see anything, but yeah, there's probably something out there.
Yeah, I was telling them what I like about the show is the balance between a lot of the aliens story plot and then we get to the people inside the tank subplot. So for you guys, what is you guys' thoughts when you actually saw that subplot play out proper in the show?
I loved it.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan.
Well, for me, I remember when I first read it, I was like, "Well, that's a fun idea." I didn't realize it was going to become a whole storyline.
Yeah, I told them multiple seasons. I'm like,
yeah,
seasons of this? All right.
And that's one of the coolest parts of the show, but because they always just they change up the style each season.
Yeah, this I think it was episode 7 of season 1 where none of us talked. I got a little worried, but I was like, oh, we still get paid? Okay. Okay, thank God.
Yeah, because it's a whole episode focused on them in the tank. I'm like, so we're not going to, all right, chill, let's see what happens.
I gotta admit, by season 2, I remember just watching episodes and thinking, this is fun. Oh boy, another wall episode.
Yeah. Let's go. I know. I feel like they're going to write us off. It's all going to be the wall.
But I mean, it's a good, healthy balance in the show. That's what I like about it. It's they'll go to the wall, but I was like, no, let's go back over here now and see what happens.
It makes the funny stuff funnier, I think. Having that serious bit. Yeah.
And Sean, how refreshing is it to go from Goldberg's and you get to do a show like this? Because we've talked about the Goldberg so many times. But this is so different. So different.
Yeah, it was definitely took some getting used to saying some of the things. And I remember I'd pause before saying some parts of the lines, but now I'm getting used to it. And it's kind of it's always oh, I get to say some.
Now he's swearing all the time.
I'm swearing all the time. It's pretty fun. But it's a different kind of character where I get to be kind of angry and attacking people. So yeah, definitely, it's nice to have the balance, I guess.
Do you guys ever go in? Sometimes I'll go in a really crappy mood, and then I'm so happy by the end of the session. I'm like, it's great therapy.
It's a highlight. At any given day, if there's a Solar Opposites voiceover record, it's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
I mean, how's it doing voice acting in comparison to doing live action, acting?
a lot easier.
I mean, is it more pressure just behind camera than it is in front of the
You
camera?
can always just do different takes. You can have that in live action, but like there's so many other people waiting on you. There's like a crew and other actors, and it's just like with this, it's just you, a sound engineer, a director, and a producer, and they want you to like keep doing it again and again and again. So there's just more freedom, and then if you go off on some tangent, as long as it's funny and if it works on the show and they figure out how to animate it to it, it's in. You know?
If you've improv like that, has anybody ever come back and said, "Why are you making me do this?" Or...
No, we don't talk to the animators. Thank God. Little troll people. No. If anything, it's kind of fun, like when you watch it later on, and it'll be like a year later after you've recorded it, and you'll be like, "Oh wow, that made it in. I think I improvised that, but I mean, there's a lot of like Malcolm Gladwell like horny talk that's on the cutting room.
It's like
floor.
B-roll off
Yeah,
the
'cause
side.
I was like, this is hilarious. Let me go on a tangent here, but they chose some, but not all.
So now you're making me think we're going to get something similar to the Rick and Morty judge scene suddenly show up on the internet.
Oh gosh. Let's hope not.
Can you chat a little bit about being here in Comic-Con? I was just wondering, what does it mean to you, and how does it feel to be an event like that being back in Comic-Con?
It's kind of like a mecca for all things kind of nerdy, I suppose. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean like that in a totally celebratory way. You know, it's like last night I went to the Dungeons and Dragons kind of like tavern and was attacked by a dragon. You know, it's so insane, right? It's kind of only here where it's not only that, but there's 50 other things just like it kind of happening all at once. It's pretty sweet, and everybody like dresses up. And like I saw some guy dressed up as someone from the Elden Ring earlier today, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Pumpkin Man head. Yeah, it's just cool.
It's cool to see the viewers, right? Like it's just cool to see there's people excited about it.
Yeah, there are fans.
Hopefully that's some sort of jazz experience.
Yeah. And we'll get to feel that more in the panel. You know, to see if the fans are actually like if they're real. Hopeful. Yeah.
And you know, you guys asked about like live stuff versus recording. Like it's also just nice to not. You don't put on makeup. You don't have to. You don't. Put
I
on
do,
your,
but yeah. That's everything.
Look good, feel good, you are good. Oh man, I stink. I should have moved my arms.
Oh no, I didn't. No.
No, I smell so bad. Guys, I forgot you were mentioned this, so sorry.
Then you're like
Can't
half
hear
the
you
people
over
at the convention. It's fine.
Yeah, and that's really nice. You're comfortable, you're relaxed, you can just be yourself and not, I mean, you like, yeah, you don't care what you look like. That's awesome.
How much of yourself do you need to put into your roles to make them fun?
That's a good question.
I mean, what's neat about it is they're kind of, I mean, they can be, like Terry's a departure from me. I'm like quiet and sad most of the time.
My people.
Yes. Yay, depression. And Terry's just this kind of like hang loose, like deep cuts, social references, kind of like slacker blabbermouth. Like, I don't know, it's fun to play. I mean, I basically go into the booth and yell for 3 hours, you know. It's cathartic in a way.
Are you angrier after you're done playing Yumyulack? Like, do you get angrier?
Well, I'm trying to think. Sometimes it's like peace afterwards, because it's kind of like, I got it out, I guess. Yeah, I purged it out. Yeah, I don't know.
I never thought Yumyulack was angry. He always just seemed energetic about everything.
Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty energetic, so that's pretty much me, I guess.
About things like murder and revenge.
Crime of passion.
Some people's power fantasy is Superman, other people, angry.
How about you with Jesse? You said you're kind of.
I think that the swearing does like feel you're like, oh, I shouldn't say. I don't want people to know I'm saying this. I might not get my clean corporate shows next month. For stand up, like that's my main money, and I'm like, it feels pretty good, like to swear. It's very freeing. So it does purge some of your negative emotions from the rest of the week.
I feel like Jenny and Louise from Bob's Burgers should have a shouting match at some point.
That would be actually fun. Very fun.
There would definitely be a sound engineer going, I gotta turn that down.
Who plays Louise?
The bunny-eared girl on Bob's Burgers.
Is it Kristen?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know Kristen, so I would love for that to happen. She's really fun. She came on one of our public radio shows once, and I wrote the sketch for her, and I was like, oh gosh, she's so easy to write for. She's so talented and good. She's great person too.
We're at 2 minutes.
Okay.
For me, what I like is that we have the two sides of the people, what they think about what is it, Earth. I mean, the good side and the other bad side. I was just wondering, without being from the whatever, what is your take about this world, especially nowadays?
I'm completely 100% optimistic. I think every possible facet of humanity is going in the right direction. No notes.
No. Yeah, that's great. I don't even think I can answer that without crying. Yeah, it's tough. You're the most positive one.
Yeah, give us a good spin.
Yeah. Well, what's the question? It's like, what's the view of how the world is going?
It is for you, yes, because it's in this project, it's like you see two worlds. Some of them are very happy from the aliens to be part of, to discover this world. Some of them are saying, oh, what is that?
Well, I guess like how Solar, it shows both sides of it, like you're saying it, but it usually ends in something like a hug or like a family moment. It's like that can still exist in any of the. I think that's like a good positive, I guess. And it's like they're like a sweet unit despite all the
Chaos.
Yeah.
Correct.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, they do a good job of focusing on the relationships for sure. Positive part.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks.